Very good morning and happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. My name is Nejad, otherwise known as the Counselor of Cash. And speaking of cash, let's see if we hit two big recap screens in a row. Yeah, we did. 5-2. Shout out to Sniper for going 2-0, but also hitting the Scooble over 7.5 Ks at plus 135. Mikey B hits his. Sean Little joined the show yesterday, hits his, and he had a second play, which started out well yesterday with the win there. And then PropStarz hits his Julius Randle over 32.5 PRA. The SportsLine picks uncharacteristically let us down, but we still go 5-2. And speaking of cashing bets, and speaking of all the live people cashing all their bets, let's bring on the live people on this show here on a Wednesday. And shout out to Mike McClure in the chat, and a shout out to Larry Hartsey in the chat. But we got to give a shout out to our special guest here. We got Lucy Burdge. Of course, we got Mackenzie Brooks, Amags, and Buckets here as well. Lucy, thank you for joining the show today.
Oh, well, thank you. It is an honor to be here with all of you. I can't wait. I'm thrilled.
This is awesome. So again, you are going to be covering, give us a little tease. Like, is it baseball today or is it something else?
It is baseball. Correct. I love betting on baseball. So here we are. Baseball it is.
Hey, Mags, that's got to be music to your ears. You love betting on baseball too. And I already know you're bringing baseball today. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. That is music to my ears, and what should be music to everyone's ears is that there's some day baseball here today.
I hear it. I hear the music. Mackenzie Brooks, how are you?
Feeling pretty good. Doubled down pretty heavily across all internet platforms on OKC. So really happy to see them come out on top in that game. Had a nice green check mark night. So ready to do it again.
Mackenzie, Buckets, I want to get to you in a second, but real quick, the SGA stuff, the James Harden stuff, like running into fouls, like I'm pretty sure everybody's about to hate OKC. Like it's just going to take one more game for people to be like, this is too much. Your thoughts?
I mean, I can't hate them. Like, this is objectively a likable group of guys in my head. And there's such a deep bench. Like, you got guys like Alex Caruso. How do you not like that guy? Like, who wears the headband? Like, I think this is a likable team. I don't want to put them in the same category as James Harden. You know my thoughts on him.
Yeah, the headband is a throwback. It's very charming. Buckets, you're also very charming. You were telling us a story before we went hot that I don't know that we can share with everybody, but anyway.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, how was your vacation? How's everything going with you, sir?
My vacation went well. We had no issues, and I'm glad to be here.
That is definitely not the answer he gave prior to us going live at 10 o'clock. Everybody in the chat, thanks for being in here. Steve Folkerts, J. Rill, Taylor DeHart, Guitar Joe is in here, Mark Buckholtz, Andy Peterson, Liddy, John Parker, Dustin Wiles, everybody, CID, thank you for being in here. Please hit the like button if you could. And you'd probably like some picks after all this small talk. Buckets, if you don't mind, can you get us started on the pitch?
I can try. For my football or soccer fans out there, we have the weirdest Europa League final ever taking place. It is 16th on the EPL table, Manchester United taking 17th place on the table, Tottenham Hotspurs, and one of these teams will now be in Champions League season next year. It is absolutely crazy to see teams this low qualify for that, but it's how the system works. We are looking at this game, and we are looking at a Tottenham team that has not lost in their last 6 matches head-to-head to Manchester United. This game is going to be an absolute cluster. I have zero clue who's going to win, but what I do think will happen is we will see both teams to score hit at -125. There is just too much to play for, and we have two horrible defenses with two decent offenses, which usually leads to goals here. I think we're going to see action. I think we see the over hit, but I definitely think we see BTTS hit at -125. And a little bit of a lean just here for the live chat. Dominic Solanke to score or assist for Tottenham is +200. That's just a weird line. He should never be that high, regardless of who he's playing or what the competition is there. Not an official play, but something that I will definitely be putting half a unit on. See ya.
All right, speaking of +200, in honor of Lucy being here today, can we get to 200 likes faster than we normally do? We've got people trickle in as the show gets going, like 10 o'clock. We'll have a couple hundred, then it'll be a few hundred, and then more. Usually we'll hit the 400 mark. We're kind of climbing, but let's get the like button's probably going to help the algorithm, right? Let's get to 200. Speaking of that +200 sprinkle that Buckets was talking about, let's get to 200 likes. Let's see how fast we can do it. It's 10:07. Maybe we can get there by like 10:10. And Lucy, that'll be probably around the time you're finished giving your take. You got a couple of home run props, which is exciting, but then you've got just a regular old prop as well. Talk to us.
I sure do. I have 3 bets for today. 2 of them are home runs. I love betting on home runs, so I do have 2 today. The first one is in a day game, which is exciting because day baseball, there's absolutely nothing like it. Ellie De La Cruz to hit a home run, plus 550. He has 8 home runs this season, 1 in his last 6 games, so he is due for another. And this is a great spot for him, I think, because he has a home run off of Andrew Heaney already. Heaney has allowed 3 home runs and 21 hits over his last 4 starts, and Ellie De La Cruz has 2 home runs in day games so far this season. So I like that very much. And then I'm going with a classic. Whenever I really need to get back on track, to get hot again, I go with, of course, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani to hit a home run plus 215. He is tied with Kyle Schwarber for home run leader, because of course he is in the season this season in the league so far with 17, and he has a home run off of Corbin Burns already, as well as 3 other hits, and he is batting 500 against him. And Ohtani had 4 home runs in 3 games about a week ago, and he has 1 home run in his last 2 games. So he's hot, as he always is. So Shohei Ohtani home run, and then Jarren Duran 2 or more bases. This is minus 105. He has done this in 4 of his last 7 games. He is picking up speed. He is getting hotter. And in 3 of his last 5, he has also done this with 1 home run in that time span. He is batting 500 against Tyler McGill with a double. McGill has allowed 15 hits over his last 3 starts. And Jarren Duran is tied with Corbin Carroll for triples leader in the entire league right now. And on any given night, he can surpass him, as he did the other night. So they're in a bit of a battle too. So, who's to say Jarren Duran doesn't hit a triple here and just go over this, but 2 or more bases at least for Jarren Duran tonight, minus 105.
All right, Jarren Duran, 2+ bases, a couple of home run props. Speaking of Ellie De La Cruz, Big Cheesy in the chat has a pick. Ellie De La Cruz 1+ run RBI at minus 105. Certainly, if the home run comes in, we know that's coming in. But Big Cheesy in the chat, very, very sharp. Speaking of home runs, probably a good time to check out the SportsLine model home runs. And Amags and Mackenzie, I'll go to you. Mackenzie, of course, I'll go to you first on the SportsLine model stuff. We got a few here: Kyle Tucker, Tyler Stevenson, and Riley Green. If you're listening to the podcast, I'll just share the numbers with you. Kyle Tucker is plus 370 per SportsLine's model, but the real odds plus 425. Then Stevenson plus 425 versus plus 560. Tremendous value there. Even better, Riley Green plus 400 versus plus 650. Mackenzie, clearly, I'm assuming you like these. Anyone that you want to pick out in particular?
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Tucker, we just watched, broke a 9-game homer drought with a home run yesterday in this game against the Marlins here. So I think maybe he's got his mojo back, and he's going against Max Meyer, who's given up 6 of his 8 home runs allowed while at home. So not exactly the most phenomenal home pitcher when it comes to home runs here. Riley Green hit his 12th home run in yesterday's game, which was his 11th off a right-handed pitcher this season. So just the fact that we would put this at plus 400 and you're getting plus 650 makes it feel definitely like a good situation to be in. And Tyler Stevenson, we're going to call this a super buy low spot. This is more about the pitcher and Heaney than it really is about Tyler Stevenson. But Heaney is susceptible to giving up home runs, and 42 of his last 46 home runs he allowed came from right-handed bats. So we'd set this, you're still getting pretty good value there. Riley Green, to me, that might be the one of the day.
Mags, any thoughts here?
Yeah, I was just looking up actually another one, but I do like Kyle Tucker out of those 3. If I can get the info I want on this last one, I'll share that before the end of the show. But I do like Tucker out of those 3. Meyer, 8 home runs, less than 50 innings this year. That's kind of tough. So yeah, I do like either Tucker or any of the Cubs, really.
I do want to point out a little maybe budding rivalry here. Lucy, I need you to know that Amags is a big Yankees guy, and
Great.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Yankees haters in the chat, so you should feel comfortable. Including, by the way, Adam Kaufman, who was from that Boston area as well. Yep. He's in the chat, so we've got all kinds of royalty.
Hello, Adam Kaufman. These are my people. Good morning to you, because I love you. Thank you.
Yeah, Adam is great.
Stenberg as well.
Coming.
Jeff Stenberg is a noted Yankees hater, so you're in good company, Lucy.
Thank
You've
you.
got your fans. I'm a fan of Adam as well. He's in the chat, but of course, a lot of Jeff Stenberg's in the chat as well. All right. Speaking of home runs, BetMGM players will receive a no sweat token to apply to MLB home run wagers. To use the token, add an MLB home run bet to your bet slip and activate the token. If your bet loses, you'll receive bonus bets only at BetMGM. Well, we certainly have covered plenty of home runs for you to choose from. Again, only at BetMGM. Let's get to a SportsLine pick. Prop bet guy is going with Josh Hart tonight, over 21.5 points and rebounds at -122. Again, that's courtesy of prop bet guy Josh Hart, over 21.5 points and rebounds, -122. We're going to get to a little bit more NBA. I've got a baseball pick. Amags is certainly going to have baseball picks. You all have picks in the chat. We're going to cover it all right after this message from our partners. Welcome back to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. And I'm looking over, we're only at 137 likes. We got to do better. We got to get to at least 175 in the next few minutes. So let's hit the like button right now. If you have the chat up and you don't see the like button because you're watching on your phone or something, just X out of the chat real quick, hit the like, and then just pull the chat right back up. Super, super easy stuff. All right. Let's get to some more picks. I'll go ahead and lead. I certainly want to end, if we're going to do baseball picks with Lucy and with Amags, I don't want to be the anchor because you two are like the real baseball people. And I kind of dip in here and there with the first five, and I couldn't resist this one. Corbin Burns on the mound tonight. Like, there's a lot of day baseball. I'm going to make you stay up late. All right. This game's at 10:10. There's a lot of, I've seen a lot of Dustin May lately. I've watched a lot of Dodgers games. I've actually been betting the Dodgers live or fading the Dodgers live. And I've mentioned that on the Early Edge over the last week. I've seen a good enough portion of Dustin May to know that his stuff is wildly good, but also just pure wild. I think he has like serious control issues. He's on 4 days rest. He hasn't been good. He played the Diamondbacks on May 10th, I think it was, and he played pretty well. He pitched pretty well, but honestly, since mid-April, Dustin May's been all over the place. He's been bad. He's been touched up by plenty of teams. And you got Corbin Burns on the other side. It's an opposite trajectory where he started off the season not so great. And then now he's really come into form, only allowing 2 earned runs over his last 4 starts. Corbin Burns is in form. The Dodgers bats are still great, but just a little shaky here and there as of late, but still great. Like, I'm not undercutting the Dodgers at all, but this is a pitching matchup I really want to take advantage of. I think Dustin May is going to continue to be all over the place, continue to allow runs, and continue to allow some contacts. So give me the Arizona Diamondbacks first 5 plus 105 tonight at 10 o'clock. Liddy says, I don't like it. And I would imagine, Lucy, you don't love it. You think Shohei's going to go yard. I mean, any thoughts on this bet? You can tear me down if you want.
Well, I do tend to lean on the side of the Dodgers. So I it's a great attempt. I think that's good. It's cute. But, I do think Shohei Ohtani could hit a grand slam and maybe destroy this.
Well, here's what I want to happen. I don't mind if Shohei goes yard in like the first at bat. And we're just going to have the Diamondbacks pile up some runs on Dustin May. I think, honestly, at the end of 5, I think like 3-2, 4-3 is perfectly in play. I'm hoping it's more like 4-1 though. Amags, any thoughts on this game before we move to Ken's and an NBA pick?
Yeah, I had took the Dodgers last night. It was on the run line, so we didn't get the full 1.5 there for the cash. But I did think that they would win that game behind Yamamoto, and then coming to this one against Burns, that's a tough game. They are the favorite, which I was actually a little bit surprised at the price. So I would not mind going to the D-backs side here.
All right, fair enough. I actually also had the Dodgers first 5, and we escaped with a 1-0. I had it parlayed with the Phillies, which just seemed like an auto play there. All right, let's talk about some NBA before we go back to Major League Baseball. Mackenzie, talk to me about one of my favorite players, Pascal Siakam, because, by the way, he's one of my favorites because his last name, if you just switch 2 letters around, it spells my full name. My full name is Siamak, S-I-A-M-A-K. So you switch the K and the M, and it's Siamak. Anyway, I don't know why I shared that story. It's ridiculous. Talk to me about Pascal Siakam.
All right, this one's for you then, Sia. Yeah, I feel like I had to hold down the NBA train over here. My goodness. Thoughts overall on this game while we're here? I do end the series at that point. I do like Indiana. I think they can stay so competitive. I think they could take the series. I think the way it's priced is because of the brand name we get with the Knicks, and that's just what odds makers can do, and 2 claps for them for being able to do that. But I just feel like the Knicks just played a team that lives and dies by the 3. I don't think the Pacers live or die by anything. And I quite frankly think they have a very deep roster that the Knicks don't. And I don't want to prey on anyone's downfall, but we're one sprained ankle away from the entire team crumbling. So I like the Pacers. I like them to cover this game. I think Pascal Siakam will be a big part of that. I like him over 28.5 PRA. It used to be 27.5, so definitely steaming up. Could see this getting to 29.5. And all the trends work in his direction here. I mean, not only is he 8-5 to this over coming into this game, he has better PRA numbers on the road as well. And on top of that, against the Knicks specifically, he's like 10-4, 5-2 to this when the playoffs against them specifically. So I think this is a guy that should be getting double teamed. Like, he's just not getting the attention he should because you have another star like Tyrese Halliburton taking all the attention, which is fine for me if we want to go over this. But what I like about him specifically in the PRA is he's so consistent across all 3 stats here. It's not dependent on points, rebounds, or assists. He's really good at just having consistent numbers across the board. This is a play on him playing 30+ minutes. I said it the other night about Chet. When he plays 30+ minutes, we should coast here. And I feel like this should be, given the spread, a relatively close game. So we should see him get those minutes.
Okay. Can I ask you something totally off the subject before we get to Amags and look at some chat questions and comments? So it appears, and I don't know this for a fact, I do want to mention, did I already mention it? We're 111 days away from NFL season, which feels like it's right around the corner, even though it's totally not. The tush push. It looks like your Eagles may get that banned. Do you have any? I know we could go a whole show on this and we could go around the horn and all that stuff, but you're the Eagles fan here. Talk to me about your feelings in this moment.
It stinks if that's actually the case. Do I feel confident that they're going to find some modified version of it and it's just going to be a big middle finger to the rest of the league in general? Probably. You still have all the same cast and crew and people to make it happen. So I think, like Mike said, banning anything is lame. Just everyone else should try to figure out how to do it. It's not banned from any other team. It's not our problem. But
yeah. I see Buckets here, and Lucy, just to give you a little bit of background, Buckets only knows soccer. And I'm not talking. I'm not talking. That's the only sport he knows. That's actually all he knows.
Just in general.
In general,
sure.
So when
that makes sense.
That's not an insult, right, Buckets? I mean, this is kind of
no. It's how my brain works. I have absorbed so much soccer knowledge that I pushed out anything outside of I sometimes remember y'all's names, and then I remember anything and everything I can about soccer. That's it. That's all I got.
Which means, of course, when we just brought up the tush push,
he had no idea.
Never heard that in my life.
Out of context, it is a little jarring.
It's a tough phrase to hear with no context.
Out of context, it's a little jarring. Could not have been any like you put that as well as you possibly could. Liddy says Buckets knows dice. I guess you know what, Buckets? I think you need to bring back the dice for the home run props because that was a hit last year.
So this is not a joke, and this is why I've been quietly laughing to myself. We have so many great baseball minds on the show right now. I wanted to just feel like I was a part of it. So I looked at MGM. There's 30 baseball teams playing kind of top to bottom, right? I rolled 2 20-sided die. I was going to add them up, and whatever number that was, I was just going to take their money line. I rolled a 14 and a 12. The 26th team on the list is the Colorado Rockies. So I'm on their money line at plus 170 today, but I didn't know if I wanted to share that or not because I'm looking it up and it doesn't look like they're the best team around.
They're the best team. That's a really good bet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on Rockets money line, but I don't want them to come back and bite me.
Them and the Dodgers.
Them and the Dodgers? Okay, top two.
I'd take the Rockies. Yeah, definitely.
You need to also know that Buckets during football season will flip a coin on which quarterback will throw an interception, and he runs absolute laps around the rest of us.
At one point, he was 18 of 23 on QB INTs.
So maybe watch the Rockies win. Watch it happen.
See, this is probably going to happen. No Phillies money line here. All right, Amags, let's transition to you got a couple of pitcher props. Talk to us.
Yeah, so I'm on the Rockies money line here today. No, but funny enough, I actually don't dislike that play. I just don't think Taijuan Walker is a very good pitcher, and he's been much better than he has been last year. He was terrible last year. So maybe this is that regression game for him in Coors Field, right? Pitching in Denver is not the easiest thing. So Buckets, at that price, I actually do think there's some value. So I am totally okay with betting that one. But I did have a couple of pitcher props for us here today. First one, real quick, I'm not going to spend too much time, but Garrett Crochet at minus 140 for a second walk. this Mets team is one of the highest walk teams in the league, especially against left-handed pitchers. We played on Sunday night Max Fried to have 2 walks against this team. I think I'm going to do the same exact thing here. 3 of the last 4 starts for Crochet, he's been actually through 7 full innings, kind of been that innings eater. And I mean, after what happened yesterday with Walker Buehler cursing the umpire out and then getting thrown out of the game, I do think that there's a little bit of room here for him to extend into the game a little bit deeper. So a second walk at some point, I think, is going to drop for Crochet. And then secondly, here, I did want to at least throw the home run picks out really quick before I get to the last strikeout prop. The couple of things I want to mention: Jacob deGrom, 7 home runs allowed against lefties, none against righties this year. Going to pitch in Yankee Stadium. Those Yankees lefties, Trent Grisham has been sneaky hot. And then Bellinger, we've kind of been riding him on this hit streak. I don't think that, a guy that's had some at-bats here, over 15 at-bats against deGrom in his career, I don't think that that's a bad spot to be for a home run. And then secondly, maybe some of these lefties like Nick Kurtz on the Athletics here tonight in Sacramento. I don't know exactly how to say his last name, Kochanowicz. I don't exactly know, but Jack Kochanowicz, he's also allowed 6 home runs to lefties and only 1 to right-handers. So those lefties on the A's, I think that could be a good spot for home runs too. But my pick on the SportsLine website, I posted it a little bit earlier. You would have had this Hunter Brown over 6.5 strikeouts. And look, 9 strikeouts. I think it's 5 straight now, but he's just been really impressive with the strikeouts, firmly in the Cy Young debate. He looks like the ace that the Houston Astros really need. And he goes up against a team that has quietly started to see their strikeout rate increase. And then they're going to be lefty heavy. And this is a guy that has much stronger underlying metrics against left-handed batters than right-handed batters, especially for strikeout stuff. I do think that today this 7 strikeout is a bit underpriced. So 7, 8, 9, 10, I'll play them all. It's not the best park for him to pitch in, but I'm not too worried about that. He's been great.
All right. Sam Buckets is laughing. I don't know if you're laughing at like what you said.
Are they really 8 and 40?
Probably. There's something like that.
They're terrible Buckets. They're really bad. But that also means that at some point you get the plus 180 and it hits, right? And
they're due.
This is exactly how we drew it up, Buckets. Now we get a nice, pretty price on them. It's going to pay out. It's going to be perfect.
You
needed.
You also went from betting the Rockies, because I think people noticed in the chat, to saying the Rockets. And frankly, the Rockets playing as the Rockies would probably also be 8 and 40. I'm just guessing.
Or better.
Or better. We have there's people that are like, yeah, I'm throwing. Bald Guy Sports says I'm throwing money on the Rockies. I think he's saying that in jest, but listen, plus 170. Amags, to your point, at a certain point, even the Rockies are going to have some value.
Yeah, I play in a men's league, Sia, and there are like 3 pitchers in their starting rotation right now that could not play in the men's league. They wouldn't make any other rotations in baseball for sure. I'm obviously joking, but like these pitchers are not good that they're rolling out there. The hitters are iffy. They're not looking to win.
Oh, fair enough. Mackenzie, anything SportsLine model related or NBA related in the chat that you need to address?
No, I haven't seen much NBA today. A little surprised. I thought we'd be a little more pumped for this Eastern Conference Finals, but maybe after we get some drama tonight, we'll be ready to rock. I'm back in on OKC again though. They're laying 7.5 again. I get it before it's 8 for tomorrow.
Well, talk to me about, does the model have any value on the 4.5 tonight, Pacers-Knicks?
Yeah, we like the Pacers. I think they're pretty alive to win outright too. Like, there's not a lot of interior shooting or problems that the Pacers are going to have to deal with. I thought it would be a problem against Cleveland, but then Cleveland was injured, so we never really saw that. We have the Knicks with the rebounding advantage, and that's really it. As far as turnovers, 2-point percentage, 3-point percentage, those are all part of the big 4 that we really look at when coming to the model and what scores we come up with. And the Pacers outshine them in every other category there.
Hey, Max.
First and foremost, go Knicks, right? But secondly, I think if you're looking at like playing the points or the money line, especially in these games, like I would just play the money line. I get that they're going to be close, and yes, you're going to have those close 3-point games, but like it's at 3, 4, 5 points. Like I would just rather ride the money line and see if the Pacers can win outright.
This is where Brunson meets like his clutch match. Like Tyrese, if you ask anyone outside the city of New York, like Tyrese Halliburton's been playing some pretty clutch basketball himself.
Lucy, as a Celtics fan, you got to be rooting for the Pacers here, I imagine.
Oh, yes. Go Sirs. I am all in on the Pacers. No, down with the Knicks. That was awful. I am not over it. So I don't want the Knicks to accomplish anything going forward. So yeah, Pacers all the way.
I like how you just don't pull any punches.
Nope.
It's just very blunt. Go sirs.
Yep.
I love that.
Gotta
Yes,
be.
sirs.
Yep.
Buckets, was there any soccer questions in the chat that you needed to address?
There's a couple, but I don't know if people want to listen to me after 8-40 is just hilarious to me. Real super fast. There's in France, there's the Ligue 1 relegation playoffs taking place this afternoon. Metz versus Stade Reims. I love both teams to score in that one. Mets have to do something in the first leg, and they will not produce in the second. And then also in the Latvian versus Liga, this is at 1 p.m. this afternoon. There's a team called SK Supernova, which is just a fun team name. So you kind of want to back them no matter what. They're playing Jelgava. They're good enough to score, but not good enough to win. Take over 2.5 in that game.
The same guy that 2 years ago was making fun of James Madison University because he thought it was a made-up name is talking about SK Supernova, which is just like the ultimate full circle moment, Buckets.
There was a match earlier this year where it was Supernova versus the Strongest, and I could not give out a play for that game because no one believed that they were real teams.
Lucy, can we have you back on the show, notwithstanding all the antics?
Yes, please. I can't wait to come back and celebrate the Rockies money line, and their surge after this will be very exciting.
Amazing stuff. Let's get to the recap screen before we get everybody out of here. And oh, by the way, we got well over 200 likes. A big thank you to everybody for pushing that over the top. I'm going late night. Diamondbacks first 5 plus 105 with Corbin Burns against May on the mound here. We'll go Pascal Siakam from Mackenzie Brooks over 28.5 PRA. That's points, rebounds, and assists at minus 120. Europa final, Tottenham versus Manchester United. Both teams to score minus 125. Then we go to Amags. Garrett Crochet over 1.5 walks at minus 140. And Hunter Brown over 6.5 Ks at minus 132. Then Lucy steps in with Jaron Duran, 2+ bases at minus 105. And Ellie De La Cruz to go yard, home run, plus 550. And Shohei Ohtani, home run at plus 215. And then finally, we have got our SportsLine pick. It's Josh Hart over 21.5 points and rebounds at minus 122. That one, courtesy of Prop Bet Guy. Wow, what a show. On behalf of Mackenzie Brooks, Amags, Buckets, and Lucy Burdge joining the show. And don't forget, Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, running everything behind the scenes and sometimes in front of the camera. That'll do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining the Early Edge. We rest our case.